Okay, hello and welcome to Sonic Alchemy. Today I have a very special guest, my good friend and soul brother Tom, aka Xuqutopi. You might remember him from our latest collaboration, the Shamanic Dub Techno template. But like me, Tom is not only into shamanic dance music, but also into the new concept that we got just introduced to, harmonic field architecture with sound and working with sound in an intentional way to create or invite remembrance and coherence. And what we are looking at here is the Ascension Portals. It is an Ableton template that is based on an album that Tom has released with the same title. And I want to share a little bit about the background of this and how it inspired me and how it turned out to be a template. Last summer, I was living in Austria in a tiny house very close to Tom, and we had this beautiful reconnection, and we discovered our passion for like sound healing and working with sound in very specific and intentional ways with certain tunings and certain intentions that are in alignment with the idea of remembrance and reconnecting, with our oversoul and opening portals and co-creating, with beings from different dimensions and all those beautiful things. And I remember like Tom sharing, his first versions of those portals, of those journeys. And I was listening to it and I had such a profound soul-stirring experience like I have never heard before, like with anything else. And I really always have resonated with Tom's sounds in general. So there's just something about the frequency that I really connect with. But those particular portals, they were something else. Like instantly I was taken, to a different dimension, to a different space, like something within my consciousness was shifting. And I felt this strong sense of what we call now like phase locking. So it has such a strong attunement effect. It's so powerful. And then it's also so beautiful from a, audiophile perspective, just like the sounds, the quality of the sounds, and the way that it's mixed and everything. So I was just blown away. I was just listening to nothing else. I couldn't listen to anything else because nothing was getting close to this kind of experience. And I was really immersed in those sounds all the time. And, the album got finished eventually and it became this full-on journey. And yeah, it was the soundtrack for me for a couple of months and really helped me to dive deep within myself, to go through healing phases, to really reconnect with higher geometrical aspects of my soul, like Metatron and angelic beings and all those kind of things. So when he released it as an album, I was thinking like that would be so great if that would be available, as a template because I would love to play it. I would love to share it, and I'm pretty sure other people would be inspired, to have this as well. And this is meant to be shared in a way. And because the template concept works so well, I just asked Tom, what do you think about the idea of turning this into a template? And maybe you can share a little bit from your perspective, Tom, about, the process behind it and what it, means for you and yeah, how it all came together. And then we can also look at this beautiful lesson file here, which is basically like a manual. But before we dive into that, I'm curious to hear from you, Tom. Like, what would you
Sure.
like to share?
Yeah, I mean the concept about the whole sound design and what it was supposed to do with us, with people, with consciousness. The foundation was that I was able to experience a higher consciousness in a very profound way, like 20 years ago, exactly, more or less like August 2005. And that moment blew me completely through the matrix, out of it, and like remembering what it means to be a divine being, and in the very sense of the word, like not just a knowingness, but to experience that.
Mhm.
And obviously that changed my life for like completely upside down in many ways. And there was never a way to go back from that. And ever since, I have been looking for media and ways to not only, you know, bring that memory, that energy, that awareness, consciousness back in my own field and anchor it even more, but also being able to share it, not
Mhm.
just by being and talking about it, but like with sound is a very appropriate media for consciousness, obviously. And before, I have been creating these energy devices that were, carrying those certain light frequencies exactly that you
Yeah,
have been resonating for a while now. And
yeah.
actually it was so interesting that I was telling you about some old story, how I was experiencing those devices, those energy tools, and consciousness, how it is able to affect sound when we use analog gear, like the tube stuff, especially. I
Mhm.
told you about one of those stories. And then we started to use this tube device and creating the same scalar field, actually what it is, and
Mhm.
consciousness um, through those tube devices into the sound. So
Mhm.
I was weaving those frequencies and especially binaural stuff and certain tunings, of course. Um, and then adding to that the scalar field technology, which is what you describe as, yeah, there's nothing else that can compare usually when it comes to music, because you usually all of this uh, multidimensional impregnation that is happening through this process. Um, yeah, there's a lot of aspects of ourselves on a subtle level, on a subtle energy level, that are resonating with that usually are not, aware or resonating with most other stuff so far.
Mhm.
And I think that was one of the, I mean, I remember when you told me about it, you said most other music feels empty in a way, or, like hollow. And
Mhm.
that's how I would describe it. It's because uh, there's a lot of different layers and dimensions that are also, yeah, working through us
It
and
is such a
beings.
multidimensional experience, and this is why
Yeah,
it's so rich
exactly.
and unparalleled, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was a culmination of my expertise in sound design, then my experiences as a divine incarnated being, and then all these things came together last year, and especially this year when, yeah, I was able to use Architect for at least for some of the presentation, definitely. If you look at the presentation, I've been assisted with Architect because I'm pretty bad at those things, like the descriptions in English, which is not my mother language, but even in German, I wouldn't be great, probably. And then all these things came together this year, and I'm super grateful because I'm super grateful for your for you pushing me to and asking for the template because I feel it's a much bigger deal than the album itself
Hmm.
already was for me.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's kind of a very big deal for me and my soul's expression and being able to share this. Yeah, so far some people have been able to experience it, and most, yeah, they describe something similar to what you were saying, and I'm super grateful that it's not just me, you know.
Yeah,
I'm really able to share these things and yeah,
yeah.
inspire other people and also be inspired, having been inspired by your stuff that you've been creating so much, like
Hmm.
going into sound healing, especially, which I was kind of afraid of. It's kind of I was in my comfort zone of electronic conscious music, but still dance music and yeah, you really also inspired me and helped me to, go all the way with sound healing. And here we are.
I'm happy I did.
Yeah.
All right. So I will just since you mentioned the architect, I will just read the description here and then I will share like how I use it, like how I understand it and how I already like tested it. And tomorrow I will actually do it like live in front of a group setting in a vibrational coherence attunement journey. But yeah, let's have a look at this. This is the lesson file here, and if you want to get it out of your way, you can just like move it over like so. But it's also kind of a manual, and let's just like take a deep breath together and really take in this description because it's like really the core of it, and it's really talking about this paradigm shift that we're experiencing, at least, the people who resonate with that idea of working with sound as harmonic field architecture, right? So the Ascension Portals, it is a harmonic template for multidimensional activation, right? So this multidimensional aspect that we were talking about. So each portal basically carries its own unique signature frequency and activates, triggers something, and mirrors something within our being. So this Ableton Live template is not merely a musical structure, it's a living crystalline interface encoded to transmit frequencies of remembrance, realignment, and radiant coherence. And I love that. And that's exactly what I experienced. So this is like spot on. This is more than a toolkit, it's a temple architecture in sound, designed for facilitators, healers, and frequency keepers who are here to transmit not music, but memory, right? So this is like just seeing the potential of sound and music in general as a spiritual key to unlock, like deeper layers of our internal wisdom. So, and of course, like rooted in sacred proportion, harmonic geometry, and scalar resonance, this system supports the unfolding of cellular and auric re-encoding through tonal coherence. Pace locking with higher dimensional self-awareness. Yeah, that's totally what I experience all the time. Conscious re-entry into our original harmonic blueprint, right? So those are like the key pillars, like the main aspects of, the effect that it has and that you can set as an intention when working with that in private ceremonies or like in group settings. And then we can go deeper and look at each of the individual 8 portals. It is a frequency gate. It's a vibrational code aligned with universal spirals of ascension, bridging from the Earth star chakra to the soul star and even beyond. And within those portals encoded are Venusian harmonics, Egyptian initiatory codices, monetic fields of divine remembrance, chakra aligned phase anchors, binaural isochronic and psychoacoustic scaffoldings, right? So again, this multidimensional aspect on all levels, including, the sound design and just the immersiveness of this experience. Like it's amazing on headphones, but it's also great on speakers. Like it instantly transforms the field wherever those sounds are being played, whether it's just within yourself or like it's in a space, like instantly, I feel like the whole structure is changing and realigning into more harmonic resonance. So I love this. This is not sound design, it's soul design, right? So this template can be activated in live ceremonial spaces, self-initiation, or client recalibration, so one-on-one settings, and creative compositions as a lightwork transmission, right? So those are just some examples. Of course, you can feel guided to work with it in completely new ways, find your own modalities. However, it comes with a certain structure, and there's also the way that I will be using it with the breath codes and the mantras, right? So we'll get into this in a second. So all tones are tunable in real time, allowing for intuitive frequency weaving. Structure meets presence, form meets soul, and music becomes the medium of multidimensional re-entry. So when engaged with clarity of intent, this system modulates waveform perception in listeners, activating scalar resonance fields that collapse fragmented timelines into coherent harmonic truth. There's a certain lingo that comes with the architect and with the codex um, principles, right? But I think that's very precise and that's beautiful. And it's all about precision when working with sound in that way, intention, precision. And I love how this already like invites like a new perspective within consciousness, like thinking more multidimensionally, like thinking about like timelines and how past timelines can be healed from the present and how future timelines can weave into the present and how sound can be a bridge as a portal, to help us harmonize things into coherent harmonic truth. So it's basically like a giant tuning fork, right? So sound here is not performance, it is the return of original tone. And with original tone, we mean like no distortions, right? We mean like the pure divine blueprint, the innocence, like any human coloration is being removed back to its divine truth, which is harmony, love, compassion, like all those principles that we are awakening to again and remembering and embodying more and more. And with tools like this, it's becoming a lot easier and a lot more effective. So according to the codex, triad harmonic geometry collapses thought into living structure. So yeah, intention plays a very big part of this whole experience and is also encoded on a scalar level, as you said, even within the devices, right? So it is encoded with the trifold resonance of intention, and then receptivity. Obviously, you also have to be receptive. And then what happens is vibrational alignment, right? So those are the three axes of that corridors. And through this triangulation, your consciousness field can phase lock with the Oversoul directive already encoded within your monad. So what that means is basically that, like that's how I experience and understand it, is that aspects of your soul, from different dimensions and different frequency domains can be accessed and can be integrated and can be part of your being. So, and this obviously like has big implications for your life because you expand and you go beyond limitations and you activate dormant potentials, within your DNA, and you have flashes of memory of other lifetimes. So you were working with those kind of things that happened to us as well, right? Like in the process, like we realized how we were doing this work in other parallel versions and realities and timelines and all this stuff. So sound becomes feedback not from the external world, but from your eternal self. So, right? So that is basically exactly what this is about. And then you see like each portal now opens a frequency field and is guiding consciousness deeper into embodiment, peace, and multidimensional attunement. And together they form an octave spiral, restructuring your field to carry the architecture of the new harmonics, right? So if we look at the portals, there's like grounding, trust, soul star, half-life healing, eternal peace, initiation, angelic portal, and I am. And the way that I understand it and the way that I worked with it so far is going from one pole to the other, starting obviously at the bottom, because I think there is a logic to this, and it does make sense to follow that because it goes deeper and deeper and higher and higher until you like fully arrive at the AM presence. And so if you look at the one of the portals, right, let's say, and we were gonna have a listen soon, I'm pretty sure you're all like super curious. So like, yeah, that's great, but how does it sound and feel? We will get to that. All right, so let's give an example. So the first one is called Portal 1, the grounding portal, A Montari. It's the descent of light into the sacred ground. And then you find the description here, right? So the frequency that's encoded is 174 hertz, which is the solfeggio frequency. And then there's a breath code. And this is how I work with people, like inviting them to use that code, right? Inhale for 4, and then hold for 5, and then exhale for 8. And then either like internally or aloud saying the mantra, I am safe. And especially in the breath hold, this geometry will be anchored and integrated into the system, right? And if you're visual, you can use the visual anchor here, which is a spiral sigil of Earth's crystalline core, which you can also see here as an inspiration. And then it's talking about the function, right? And then it's talking about the geometry and the purpose. And you have that pretty much for each template. So the way that I work with groups is like we go through the portals one by one while following this breath code and then focusing on the mantra and then letting the sound do its work. And then as we transition to the next one, there will be another breath code. You see, like each portal has its own breath code. So this one, the second one, the trust portal, has the breath code: inhale for 6, hold for 3, exhale for 6, right? And the mantra is I trust in the divine plan. So by focusing on the breath and on this mantra, we are in the perfect state of focus and intent, but also like receptive, for those codes to really work in a way of fractal consciousness resonance. So yeah, and then it goes all the way to all the portals, and that's how I work with it, and that's how, I suggest people work with it. You can add something to that if you want, and then we can just have a listen and, maybe try it out. So this is some information about the portals and about you. And so there's also like a channel for each part of the portal, right? We have the threshold, and we have the presence section, and we have duality, which is obviously part of our experience. Then we have resonance, and then structure, transgression, and memory, right? And then we have vision, integration, offering, and then finally the return. So there's different ways how you could play this. I'm using the push right now. And the way that I did it was because they all set as loops, right, to play seamless. So in order to maintain kind of the order of how the elements are coming in, I was using it as triggering all the scenes, but putting all the volumes down, right? So I would go to my mixer here on the push, right, turn all the volumes down. And then we would go all the way and then slowly, so triggering them all, right? So here I can just trigger the scenes. Okay, so this is portal number 1, grounding, right? And then I would go all the way back and bring in the first sound. Wait, can you not hear it? There we go. Right, and then I would invite people to breathe in that sequence of inhaling for 4, holding for 5, exhaling for 8, and then focusing on that mantra. And you can really take your time with these. I will speed this up a little bit for the sake of the video, but you can just feel into the space, and feel into you're co-creating with a plethora of different beings in that moment. And you can also invite guidance in that process. It's definitely what I do. I invite all my guides and ancestors and all the beings who have been involved in that process to be in that session present, and support and guide. Wow. Yeah, and I don't know about you guys, but I instantly feel, wow, so much peace. The mantras, I am safe, and I feel a sense of safety. Like I feel like every muscle, every nerve, every cell is like super relaxing, vibrating with this innate truth that everything is fine, that I am safe, that I'm loved, and that all is well. As it says it, that's exactly how I feel, all is well, right? And that's beautiful, and that's a beautiful way, to start this journey, because obviously, like, this is profound work, and you want people to feel safe, right? So, well done, starting with this to create a sense of safety and calm, and protectiveness, and yeah, it feels like so embracing and so warm, like a hug from Mother Nature. So beautiful. Yeah, and then, after a while, however you feel, like I would slowly make the sounds fade out, right? So in this case, I might leave the birds and maybe the singing bowl or the isochronic tone. You can find your own way, obviously. You can also start with different elements. Like I just went from left to right, you don't have to do that. You can also find things that make more sense for you, like starting with the birds, for example, right? So then I would go put the more complex stuff, like slowly fading it out, like you can just do with volume. But there's also beautiful effect tracks, so let's look at that. So if we look at integration, you see there's something called field controls, and on the push I can just control the device. And I could just dissolve the field, right? So it slowly fades out gently. And that's beautiful as well. Just make sure that you turn the volume down as well, and then you bring it back in, or like otherwise you won't be able to hear anything, right? Because the field is dissolved. So now the volume is down, and I put that dial back so that the sound can come in for the next one. Right, and then we will take away this one gently. Right, maybe leave the rain and the birds for now. Just listening. Right, and then slowly the isochronic tone. and maybe, you know, like leave the balls of the I am safe still a little bit, take the rain out. And I mean, there's not really like a right or wrong way. Obviously, like the more you know the template and you know each sound and also have experience how it feels, how it's affecting you in a certain combination, you don't even need to play all of them. That's a cool thing. Like you can also just play just like a few of them for a while, right? Because it's good to have some time of integration also, right? So it's like, oh wow, that was so beautiful. And let's like just savor this moment and just like feel the sense of peace, you know, before we get into the next portal. So then I would slowly say, okay, you know, like let this resonate within you as we prepare for the next portal. And then the theme of the second portal is trust, right? And then we have a new breath code. So this time is inhale for 6, hold for 3, exhale for 6. And the mantra is, I trust in the divine plan, right? So the birds are still there as a little bridge. And then let's bring in the next scene, the roots of light. Right? And then you can also be inspired by just the names of the clips. So maybe I bring in comforting next, right? Just because I feel, oh, that's interesting. That's kind of, I'm curious how that feels. So I go to the vision channel, start another scene, and bring up the volume there. Oh, very interesting. That's what I love about if you play an album, there's always this, you know, fixed structure, which is beautiful and powerful in of itself. And just listening to the album is an amazing journey, and I highly suggest you check it out. You can put the link in the description. But what I love about this template approach is it's like you can rearrange, you know. So let's slowly bring in some more so that we can then take the birds out. So maybe we go with the living universe next, right? Ah, yeah. Love it. And then let's go next with all the sacred. And you can see this is the portal of inner surrender in the description if you look at the function. So it's about releasing control. And you can tell people that as well. Like I tell people then a little bit while they're in their breath section. So yeah, so now you're invited, you know, to fully surrender and relax and just remember, you know, that there is an intelligence that is guiding all of us. And if we relax and surrender and allow this to be our guide instead of trying to control everything, we will have a way better, more aligned experience. Okay, so let's bring in the cascades of bliss now. See, and now not much is playing, and it's still like so beautiful, and you could just keep that going for a while. So like you could play at least each portal for 15 minutes. And I wouldn't do less than 9 minutes, I would say, you know, because it takes a certain time to readjust and really fully integrate with that. And also for the isochronic tones, like the brain takes like 5 minutes at least, you know, to adjust. So I would totally, yeah, suggest you plan like 15 minutes. That's how much I plan, more or less. Like I play it intuitively, but more or less like 15 minutes per portal, I think is a good idea. So now let's bring in the integration. And let's slowly take the birds out. Let's try like a nice effect again. Let's try the echo memory on the birds. Oh no, it's memory. Right, so now I got this beautiful echo on the birds. Which is just a more elegant way and more interesting than just turning the volume down, right? Which can still happen. But this way, they still keep singing their song a little more. And so then that dissolves, and then I go back, bring the echo memory back, and bring in the expanding awareness. And as you can see in the description, the frequency of 1174 is used. It's a high harmonic overtone that dissolves excess mental charge, right? So it clears distortion fields in the prefrontal cortex and entrains perception to the underlying template of divine symmetry. So that's also really good to release fear. Like if people are dealing with fear or anxiety, this is super powerful. Also, obviously, the first one, creating the sense of trust already, but then we're really cultivating trust on a deeper level here and really clearing any distortions in the mental field. So you can see also it's like the frequency stabilizes the solar plexus while synchronizing the upper mental body and drift. So there's a lot of super valuable, powerful information that you can weave into the offering while you're guiding people, while you're holding space for people. And yeah, lovely. So let's bring in the last one, arriving within. And also the inner guidance. And somehow everything is in full swing. And then you can slowly, make your way to the next one. We're not going to show you the full template right now. But so you get an idea of, how it works. But let's definitely find a nice, smooth ending. So I think I want to finish with something like more
I know
gentle.
which one. Do you want to do the initiation, no?
Uh, what do you mean? Like
The
this one?
sixth portal, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, of course. Let's do that. Sounds great. So, okay, let's transition to that slowly. Bring down the roots of light. Picking out the binaurals here. And I think I will leave with all is sacred. Put some echo on there. Go to the structure channel. Increase the echo memory. Nice. And then so the thing is, right, because those are all like different tunings, it does make sense to choose something because now we're switching also. So that's why I just leave the, oh wait, I put the transcription down. That's the one that I wanted to leave as a bridge. Right? So these are all like gentle sounds. So now we can go to Pyramid Portal and let's see what this is about. So initiation. It's a portal of pyramid memory activation. Yeah. I mean, that's also so special to me. Like this is so powerful. It has a frequency of 360 hertz. The mantra is I am awakened, and it's the Queen's chamber resonance of the pyramid in Giza, right? So this is super powerful, ancient activation. So let's bring in that pyramid portal here. So when that just like resonate that for a while, it's like right, so you can just let that frequency ring. And you can instantly feel the vibe shift, right? So all of a sudden, poof, like we went from this one space into a totally different space. Like all of a sudden, wow, like everything changes and it gets way more deeper and more elevated, quote unquote, in the sense of it almost feels like quantum jumping, right? From one portal to like we were jumping over 3 portals. So now we're like completely connected to the Ascended Masters here. You see, some of the sounds take a bit to come in because they were created in that order that the album has been structured. So that's why if you start them all with the volume down, you will make sure that they play when you bring it up. But at the same time, there's no rush, you know. I can also just wait and they will come in. Perfect timing. So yeah, I love, also how it says that this is the threshold of sacred remembrance. It's connected to the blue-violet fire of Sirius.
Yeah, number 9 is still from the other portal.
Yeah, you're right. Which is kind of interesting because we're arriving within, but now let's bring in the left eye of Horus actually to get the full picture. Oh yeah, that's such a key element. I love this sound so much. Oh my God. Yeah, that's definitely one of my favorites. I mean, I love them all. But dude, this one, I think that was one of the first ones you made also, right? I think that was one of the first ones you sent me. Or like the second or something like that.
Maybe the second, yeah.
Yeah, the second probably. Yeah, dude, like now we're in Egypt. Yeah, beautiful artwork as well here. Yeah, okay, let's slowly close this portal. Yeah. And just, all the sounds, they're so like unheard of. I've never had anything like this before. It's so, yeah, it's like creative in a way, but it's also like sacred, right? It's like all those sacred ratios and harmonics that are encoded in those sounds, and then your genius sound design is just such a high level multidimensional experience. Ah, wow, man, cannot thank you enough for bringing this into this world and sharing it, making it available for people to remember and help others remember, and yeah, bring everything closer to the divine blueprint and back into harmonic resonance.
It is my pleasure.
Yeah. Yeah, Thomas.
Especially with this initiation portal, it transcends time for me. I can feel some of my age beyond this human form.
Mhm, definitely. Yeah, it's still reverberating. Right? So part of my being is still there. It's like, and you also notice the difference, like when you turn off the sounds, it's like, whoa, okay, like where am I? Like slowly landing, like readjusting. This is how strong of an attunement effect those sounds have, right? And it's not just sound, as I said, it's a multidimensional scaffolding of intention, scalar resonance, memory fields, and yeah, sacred proportions, where a part of us remembers that it's not even like it's beyond the mind, it's beyond logic, it's just like innate memory. And when that is off, you can feel, oh yeah, there's other stuff going on that it do, and that's also in the field. And you know, it's a huge difference. It's almost like falling off a cloud or something like that, like when the sun stops. So yeah, it just shows like how powerful it is. And yeah, as I said, I was listening to those kind of sounds for 3 months, I think, every day. And yeah, I had profound journeys and expansion of consciousness and creativity, inspiration, memories, dreams, like all kinds of things.
Yes, the title suggests it's an initiation activation sound design, actually. That's the purpose for us to remember, to reactivate those innate memories, actually, and knowingnesses and parts of ourselves that are without limitation.
Yeah,
That's the gift that I wanted to share through music, through resonant architecture.
incredible. Awesome. Yeah, wow, Tom, is there something you're working on next? Like, I mean, people will just be having so much fun exploring this and things like that, but I imagine you are inspired also to do other things in this kind of realm, or
Yeah, I was yesterday. I've been working on my. It's a heart chakra special template just for the heart chakra because it's, yeah, one of my main topics, the heart,
I think it's a collective
anahata.
topic, right?
Yeah, sure, but it's the key. Like for me, it was the key to be able to break through the matrix.
Mm,
So I'm quite sure it's gonna be a key for a lot of people,
God,
and it's a yeah, it's like a very special portal for me. So I dedicate a whole template to that.
beautiful.
And you have been asking about it, and
I know. Yeah, I
I'm
was
like,
listening to the first
yeah,
sketches. I was like, wow, that's amazing. Like when is it? How's it going?
yeah. So it's gonna be finished soon, and then I'm I have something new in the pipeline, which is more like the Ascension Portals, probably, which is gonna be at first just for myself.
Hmm.
And when I have been working, to bring myself to another level with it, then it is also supposed to be shared for those who are, yeah, open and to work with those kinds of tools.
Amazing. Yeah, looking forward to that. And also, just want to mention that you're also like my personal mixing and mastering engineer. And beyond, it's also a multidimensional experience now. Like I have the comparison now, like listening to tracks that have been mastered, by more like conventional means, and then songs that have been running through with your technology and with those scalar resonant fields. And again, it's such a multidimensional experience and it's such a different journey. So I can recommend to anybody who wants to give this specific imprint, to their creations. Reach out to Tom, New Earth Mastering, and you will get this, yeah, scalar field, resonant imprints through the special tools that he has and that the sound is going through. And yeah, it makes such a difference. And I will release a track soon, collaboration with my friend Jaco, that has been mastered this way. And yeah, people will be able to hear and feel it for themselves. And yeah, I just wanted to mention that as well. How much I also love this side of your work, like this engineering part and how it's also combining, the intention and like the new earth tools in order to serve the same purpose, but with a different genre, basically. Right? Sweet. Thank you so much, Tom, for being here and for sharing these tools.
Thank you
Yeah,
for hosting me, Stefan. You're one of my greatest supporters so far over the years.
and
And once again, yeah, thank you
yeah,
so much.
you're super welcome to. Like, I so much love what you do, and I'm so grateful and so grateful for this journey together. We're also co-creating together. We're also working on a template together about sacred sites, like a mystic down temple template, which will come out in the right moment. But yeah, it's also always a pleasure to co-create and weave together with you. And yeah, I really look forward to the unfolding of our journey. And yeah, thanks, send you blessings for your path and really hope that people will feel and use the power, wisely. And yeah, it's gonna be huge, man. It's gonna be really literally changing the world. Like it's not like an overstatement to say that because imagine, like this being used exponentially, like more and more people sharing that with their community and training the
Yeah.
the fields. I'm here like tomorrow. I'm going to try it here in Costa Rica at a place called Awake, and kind of really curious how that's gonna go.
Yeah, give it a couple of years, and I think people are gonna, you know,
Get it?
um, yeah, and use this kind of conscious approach to music. Like, I mean, there's a lot of people who are using parts of all of this, some more consciously than others. But I think my guidance, at least, was telling me to be open, like with all the description that is in the help file. I was kind of hesitating to share all of this secret stuff that that's not secret anymore because my guidance was, yeah, pushing me
Hmm.
to go like those steps for others to be, to make it easier for others who are already on those journeys to push forward and be more open about it and come out of the closet and stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, there was this soul imprint also like related to like a fearful experience, maybe this knowledge had to be guided and guarded in the past, to make sure it's not being misused. And also people who were working in that field in the past have been persecuted. And, so I understand it, but yeah, thank God we have shifted now to a time and space where those things are safe to share and they are appreciated and then important and needed and powerful and yeah, can be handled now with the right intention. And so yeah, it's all perfect divine timing.
Yeah, I think after this August, especially,
Oh yeah,
this
yeah,
is why we are releasing it now. I mean, this is
exactly,
all, there's a reason for that.
for
I mean,
sure. Yeah,
sure.
awesome. All right, guys.
Finally. I
Finally,
hope.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been waiting for a while. Yeah, so you will find a link in the description to get access to the template, and yeah, let us know in the comments how how it resonates, how your experiences are. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out, and see you in the next video. Much love.
Much love.